Hi, everybody. Welcome to St. Vincent College and welcome to Training Camp Live presented by FedEx. The final day here for Training Camp 2025. I'm Missy Matthews alongside Mike Pursuta and Max Starks. We're finishing out our Training Camp Live programming with a trio. We're going to break it all down for everybody, go through some of the different things. We're going to do the second annual Campy Awards. This is a brainchild of Mike Pursuta, as I'm sure most people can guess.
Very small child, but nonetheless.
But so before we say goodbye to St. Vincent College, because it is something that happens every year, and then we come back and the same process repeats itself. Max, what's your biggest takeaway from the time spent here and something you learned about this team?
Well, I think one of the biggest things that I look at, Missy, is the fact that, this team got closer. It had a lot of talent. We didn't know how that talent would kind of come together. But as camp progressed, as the practices proceeded, you saw this team kind of come together. And then we got to see a great preseason game Saturday night, and you saw pieces just kind of fall into place and guys kind of naturally falling to the slotting position, but you saw a closeness, which only I feel St. Vincent can provide. You can't go back to, say you do this at the South Side or even at Acrisure, you're not going to get what I think these guys have gotten, the bonding. And you heard Aaron Rodgers talk about it consistently through camp. A lot of the new guys who spoke said the same thing. There's something special about this. And at the end of the day, this is the process you must go through if you want to attain a Super Bowl championship. You want to be a team of note. You want to be a team that's going to be a contender, has to start here at St. Vincent.
Agree. I feel like everybody got that feeling, no matter if you were a player, a coach, a staff member, a media member, you understood what they accomplished here in terms of that off the field, but also on the field.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And, I think the catalyst for this was Aaron Rodgers. I'm not sure what I was expecting. I haven't covered a four-time NFL MVP who's going to his third team in 4 years at the age of 41 after 20 NFL seasons. But I certainly wasn't expecting a guy who's like a kid again out there. I mean, and he's so engaging with everybody, and he's been driving this communication, chemistry, camaraderie, open door policy, hang out, go get custard. The whole camp experience, he dove in, and the water's great. And I can't put a finger on exactly what it is this team is achieving or acquiring. I don't know how to categorize that quality, but I agree with Max. There's something going on here. There's a vibe. There's a feeling that this is more than just a collection of, okay, this guy can sack the quarterback, this guy can catch a pass, this guy can throw one. They're building a team here, I suspect.
Well, and Max, as you said, so many new pieces, an offseason that is not typical of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So many different things, and I think to your point earlier, we got the clear picture of what they were doing. I think while it was happening, when it was just on paper and you're just seeing OTAs, even minicamp, Aaron showed up, but then Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith, that was right before training camp, and you're still thinking, how's this all working? Why didn't they keep Minka? Different things like that. But then once you got here and you started watching, you're like, yeah. They had a plan all along. We just didn't see it until it was physically in front of us.
How'd that go?
Yeah.
That meme. Yeah. They're like, gotcha.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
It's like DiCaprio. Oh, look.
Yeah, that's it right there. I get it. But you're absolutely right. I mean, these pieces came at different points. It wasn't like this was a wholesale, like a hockey line shift, right?
Right.
Where everybody comes in at once. No, it crept in incrementally. You started with a DK Metcalf and that trade to start off free agency. You bring in Darius Slay. You bring in Brandon Eccles. You brought in all these pieces, and then it was like the drama, the saga, the wait, Aaron Watch, 2025. And then he agrees, and you're like, okay, we're working in a good place. And then, boom, no, we're not done yet. Bye, George Pickens. And then of course you go, well, you lost the receiver, but what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do here? Oh, I got one more trade up the sleeve, right? Right before training camp. Here's the last piece de resistance. Minka Fitzpatrick's going back to Miami, but we're Red Rovering 2 players over. You said Jalen Ramsey 1-to-1. Cool. I'm great. I'm there for it. But then you said, why we got Jonnu Smith? 3 days into camp, we're like, how did we get Jonnu Smith? This dude is so good. And everything just started to take place and led up to Friday Night Lights and watching drives and watching the connection between DK and Aaron, and defensively, Jalen is everywhere on the defensive secondary, and you're like, man, this team has some depth because you already had a lot of guys returning,
right?
And now you add these pieces to it, and you're like, holy crap, Omar Khan in that front office, 2 gold stars, not just 1, but 2 gold stars today.
And Max, maybe the cherry on top of that Sunday. This is a Steelers team that hasn't won a playoff game in 8 years. It's trying to win a Super Bowl. And they didn't just go out and get talented players. Darius Slay's talked about this. Mike Tomlin's talked about this. And I had a chance to talk to Omar Khan about this morning on my day job on radio.
Yes.
They got guys who have won championships. Juan Thornhill won a couple Super Bowls in Kansas City. Darius Slay won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. Kenny Gainwell won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. Jalen Ramsey won a Super Bowl. Who am I missing? And Omar even kicked it down.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers has won a Super Bowl.
Remember that guy?
We should remember
that Super Bowl?
That Super Bowl
Yeah,
specifically.
unfortunately, yeah.
And Omar even kicked it down to the draft. Will Howard won a national championship. Jack Sawyer won a national championship. The Steelers are of the opinion that these things don't just happen by accident. So they have acquired guys that they think can help them win physically, but also guys they believe or think at least know how to win.
Right, because it's never a straight path. You're the best team for week 1 and everything goes your way, and all of a sudden you're hoisting the Lombardi. As Max says, that is not
the case.
That's not how it works for anybody. Even teams that you think are going to have the most perfect run at it, it doesn't happen that way. And I think it's the intangibles that Coach Tomlin always talks about, the things he tries to create, whether it's a competitive atmosphere or a bonding atmosphere. It's why he is the one that picks who rooms with who here at St. Vincent College. Everything that he does is very intentional.
Well, that'd be a fun conversation someday, wouldn't it?
Right. I mean,
just watching them put it together. I mean, we'll never have it, but it would be fun.
Well, it makes me think of when you're getting married and you have like sticky notes and you're like, oh, who could be at the table with my grandparents? We'll put him over here.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? No, he's taking a +1.
Oh,
he's
my
going back
God.
over here to table
Great
10.
analogy.
But
Uncle Fred doesn't like Uncle Joe. We got to separate them.
They can't be at table 6. We don't even want him at table 5 because they might cross paths if they, go to the bar or the bathroom.
Yeah, which one do you put closer to the bar? Which one do you put furthest from the bar? Because you know they're going to lose their mind. Yeah, no. That's exactly what it is.
It's the same thing, and you're doing it with 90-plus guys.
And it's 90-plus different personalities of guys that you're trying to figure out how is this going to work. And, you have to give Mike Tomlin just top billing for being able to understand that every matchup counts, whether it's in practice, whether it's backs on backers, to, like you said, who are you sharing a toilet with, right? Aaron Rodgers worried about if he was going to get a lineman. He was going to get the unlucky, unfortunate.
Justifiable.
And you took offense.
Justifiable concern, don't you think? I mean,
I am going to deny that. We are tidy folks, and we're the ones that buy the extra things to make sure it's comfortable in there. We make a toilet a throne,
And there's always snacks.
Oh, wait. Best variety of snacks. I mean, why does everybody go into the O-line room? Because they're like, man, these dudes obviously did not get this size by accident. They're going to have some good stuff in there. You go in a DB room, it's like granola bars and like trail mix. Yeah. You go to the offensive line room, we got fruit snacks, we got Slim Jims, we got all the good stuff.
You guys don't count your potato chips.
No, we don't.
That's like a vegetable.
It is.
Yeah.
Right?
Starchy, healthy, fibrous, kind of. Not really.
Who did that? Who was the DB from Ohio State a few years ago? I saw him on the south side in the lunchroom, but he had 5 potato chips counted out. He said, I can have 5.
That's a lonely life.
Honest to God,
right there.
That's commitment.
If you're counting down to the chip,
yeah,
no, I would not be meant for that room.
I feel like when you take Pringles out, you get at least 5.
I mean that's just a handful serving,
Right.
And my kids love the little 100-calorie snack pack versions that's weighed out for them. Like, I'm gonna need 3 of those, kids. and I'm like stack them and measure them for the maximum flavor impact. My kids are like, Dad, that's a lot. We only take 1. I said, good for you. Don't do as I do. Just do as I say.
There you see Jack Sawyer, one of the rookies coming down. As we said, we have some Campy Awards, the 2nd annual. We'll see who gets that. There is one for Best Rookie. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But you have mentioned Aaron Rodgers, all 3 of us. We've talked about him a lot. He spoke to the media today, so let's take a listen to hear as we get ready to put a bow here on St. Vincent College and Training Camp 2025.
Aaron, you said you feel like these joint practices are more beneficial to you. What do you like about them? What are you looking forward to about this one?
I said that?
I think you did.
Well, for the starters, yeah, because we don't play in the preseason a lot of times. Yeah. I think the thing you're always hopeful for is there's not a lot of fights. We went against Tampa a couple years ago, and they had some veteran guys, and it was a pretty clean practice. So hoping for another clean practice with them, but it's good to go against a different team. I think what I said was, now that I'm remembering, you get a chance to go against not vanilla defenses. So hopefully Todd, he probably won't show everything, but we'll do some stuff that stresses our protection and give us a chance to get some film to work on.
Aaron, what are some of the things you took out of the first preseason game?
Well, I mean, I'm just a silent observer. I think for the most part, just watching the operation, and I can't stay silent the entire time on the headset because I got to be the voice of reason sometimes. Although I feel like the headset was pretty clean. There's not a lot of freaking out on there, not a lot of people talking when they shouldn't be talking. So I thought the operation was good. I thought Mason and Sky played fantastic. I thought played great, made good decisions, were good with the football, opportunistic. And like I said, it's different in the preseason. It's football-like. It's not always real football. But they brought some pressures against us late in the game, and Sky did a nice job of hanging in there and hitting key for a great contested catch touchdown. So there were a lot of great things on the film. The way we started the game, thought Mason was super efficient. Giving Darnell a big body ball there in the red zone was great. And I think there's always things to work on, the details, especially with the second units. We're a little bit off. But I thought overall, you scored 30, you don't turn the ball over. You really only have one sack because Mason's taking the other one there on that one. A combination with KJ not getting out. I thought it was a pretty clean game.
Aaron, it seems like the fluidity continues to improve with the first team offense out here. What's leading to that?
Well, I think I'm playing a little bit better. I feel comfortable in the offense, and DK and I have been getting on the same page a little more frequently, which helps. But we've had some injuries. Obviously, Calvin's been out for a while, so we'd love to get him back. But it gives opportunities for other guys. I think Scotty's done a really nice job. Made a lot of plays for us. I think Roman's starting to feel confident in what he's doing. I love the tight ends. I think you're getting a lot of production out of those guys. Again, with Johnny out, one guy I'd love to single out is Connor. I mean, Connor does the right thing every time. He's a really smart football player, and the smartest players are the best players. So he's the kind of guy you feel real confident that you can put him in there at any time and know he's going to be on the same page.
You said that you were sometimes the voice of reason on the headset. What does that sound like? What's an instance when you would get on there?
Well, sometimes people freak out on there and start yelling and screaming. Or other times people are talking that shouldn't be talking. But I'm more of the comic relief on there, I would say, at least week one, with some timely or ill-timely jokes, untimely, I guess. But I've heard some freakouts in the past.
How much did you get out of these weeks in Latrobe, whether it's the, reps themselves or learning guys or even learning the fan base and that kind of thing from this whole experience?
Mike talks about it being things that you can't measure. The connections that happened here. Yesterday we had a home run derby here. And I was out in the hot sun just shagging shortstop for the most part. Ragging on Christian Kuntz for making a bunch of errors at the hot corner. But it's just those moments that you love. And as much as I look forward to my bed and not have to worry about bed bugs at times, I'll miss this experience just because it's really special to be able to make this walk down the hill every day and see the fans in the crowd, even when it's a hot day like today, is pretty special. And have the times in the calf with the guys and find different guys to get to know, have lunch with, and then the night times over the dorms where you're talking football, talking life, playing cards, whatever it is, playing video games. I didn't forgot how to play video games, but I had to remember just to connect with those guys. I'll definitely miss those times.
Do you make it a point to
about how Mike Tomlin was a big draw for you signing here? I'm curious what your relationship was like before signing. Were there any memorable interactions maybe around the Super Bowl or any other previous interactions that stand out?
No, not really around the Super Bowl. Just the one time we tried to catch him at 12 on the field, and he called timeout pretty quick, and I looked over him and he kind of nodded. I kind of nodded back. I've always respected him. I've talked to guys that played for the Steelers over the years, guys that we might have had after that, or friends around the league, and it's just the stuff that you hear about is kind of the foundational stuff. Then you get to be here and see how he interacts in a meeting, how he leads it, how he's on the practice field. Just his overall demeanor and confidence and swag is pretty special.
Aaron, after the game in Jacksonville, I saw you walking off with TJ and Cam. How often are you talking to those guys, and how much do you listen to them and get advice from them too?
All the time. I mean, I'm not trying to break up that bromance because anytime I rip on one of the two, the other one just takes us back really quick. So I really love and respect that friendship. It's a cool one to watch. But I'm older, so I gravitate towards the old heads, and I just happen to find myself walking. One of the weird things is, I'm 21 years in the league, so I'm over there. Who do I know on Jacksonville? I know Heath Farwell, the special teams coach that I played against him. I know Chad Morton, he was with us. And I've met Trevor a few times. So I was kind of looking around going, doing the Joe Biden, all right, well, I guess I don't know anybody here, so I'm going to just walk off. And I found Cam and TJ. I was like, we'll walk next to them.
You mentioned you gravitate toward the old heads, but are you intentional about trying to stretch with different guys every day, whether it's veterans, young guys, D linemen, outside linebackers? That's one thing I've noticed. It's Cam.
Yeah, I mean, that is intentional. I've kind of found myself in the fifth line over to the right, anywhere from the third to the seventh line. But I like to grab somebody new and just have a quick chat with them. So many times where I feel like the expectation is the leader's got to be the front of the line. But sometimes to lead properly, you have to serve. And serving sometimes involves being at the back. And sometimes when you're at the back, you can get a good view of what's going on all the time, get a pulse of the team. But I don't need to be out front the entire time when I'm here. I want to make connections with the guys, and sometimes those guys hang in the back for a reason. So those are the conversations I want to have.
In your previous steps, were you out in front all the time? Is it something a
No,
leadership
not all
style
the
that's
time.
evolved?
I'm always moving around. I'm not super rigid about where I got to be. I got to be at the front of the line every time. Like we're doing quarterback, running back exchanges. And the first time I did it, the quarterback said, "Well, you want to take it with Jalen every time?" I said, "No." I mean, part of that's you get handoffs to different players. The other part is I'm tired. I don't need to go back to the front of the line after I just took 2 reps. You guys took 1 each. But again, I think that's part of it. It's just you got to get to know every man on the roster. Right now we got 90. At some point there'll be 53 and 16 on the B squad. You got to have a relationship with all those guys. So you can't just have a head nod and a wave every now and then. It's important to get to know them by name, and it makes it hard here in Pittsburgh because there's no names on the back of jerseys. So I'm always reintroducing myself, making sure I got somebody's name, and remembering somebody's name is an important part of finding that connection.
Two more.
Aaron, what's it like for you? Does everybody know football? I mean, your reaction with the guys. I mean, you're a 4-time MVP, Hall of Famer. Do you get are they kind of in awe for a quick second? Do you get that ever?
I think in the beginning, yeah, there's some trepidation for sure, but Mason was one of them. I had to really break him down. He was kind of. No, Mason's been great. I mean, he's been one of my favorite guys from the minute I got here. But a lot of guys are a little, shy to maybe come up to you, so you got to break the ice often with them. Some of it's just like going down and sitting next to them at lunch, and they kind of go, "What the hell are you doing here? I'm having lunch. What are you doing here?" But I think that's part of it. You got to find ways to break the ice with those guys.
All right, that was quarterback Aaron Rodgers just a little bit ago prior to practice. The Steelers are out here on the practice fields for the final time at St. Vincent College. Did you have lunch with Aaron Rodgers?
I did not have lunch with Aaron Rodgers, but what I will say this is on the way here today, he did hold the door open for me while I was carrying some food out. So
okay,
even that moment, like, "Hey, what's up, Aaron?" He's like, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?" Very cordial, very nice. And I thought that was something that we look at, and it's just he's just that personable, which was a huge surprise to us.
Mm-hmm.
And he keeps it pretty real in these interviews, Missy. I mean, I don't think anybody is 100% transparent, nor should they be. But when he talks about asked, is there some trepidation? You cast a long shadow, and you're meeting guys who are your teammates and your professional equals, but they're not. And it took some adjusting, I think, on the part of the teammates. And I think one reason why that process went seemingly as well as it has is that Aaron Rodgers funneled that, and he showed no I'm the 4-time MVP and you're not vibe. There hasn't been a lot of attitude, and I'm assuming it was that way when he's interacting with these guys. Just, hey, I'm Aaron, you're whoever, and let's talk about where you're from, what you like, and when to flush the toilet.
Well, even some of the undrafted guys said that when he came to camp, he knew things about them. Not that he was necessarily researching to research, but just wanted to be able to break the ice, as he was saying in that interview.
He is a prepared individual in whatever he does.
In all aspects of life, yeah.
He likes to know what he's getting into and what he's dealing with.
And the offensive line, when we talked with him, not that every quarterback doesn't love their O-line. Those two groups have to work hand in hand, but said that Zach Frazier is still too just strict and too rigid, and he wants to break him and let him have a little bit of fun, and it's something he said he's going to work on, but he's going to get it done.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, but we know Zach. I mean, the Morgantown Mauler, right? I mean, he's a guy that follows a very strict type of line of thought. He follows his playbook. He wants to know everything. And this is a guy that I'm sure if he was not playing football and having a spotlight on him, he would be like whittling wood and breaking down trees with his bare hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just a good old country boy, just quiet, goes about his business, former wrestler type, so they're also very guarded naturally. And it'll be a great process. If we see Zach actually laughing on a sideline one day, that will be a huge win for Aaron Rodgers.
You will know that Aaron Rodgers got to him. I mean, he literally was using his NIL money at West Virginia to make things out of wood to give his coaches as thank yous before he got drafted.
Yeah, once again, one of a kind dude. One of a kind dude right there. But I think that also goes to show you that Aaron is intuitive and thoughtful in his process, right? Because to make that type of, kind of assumption or find that out and say, no, I need to break this because we need to be closer, we need to have fun, we need to be open, you have to be vulnerable with each other. I think that's the other thing. When you have a team, you can't be that structured, that rigid. And I know for our offensive line in my times here in Pittsburgh, we were the opposite of that. We were not rigid, and probably we should have been a little bit more rigid.
You were the fun group.
At times. We were the fun group. Everybody wanted to be around us. And this group, is younger, so they don't know. They don't have that kind of leader. And Isaac is a naturally quiet dude, but yet very vocal in the room. In the room, in their O-line room, very vocal, but not in public. He's going to say a couple of things. Hey, you need to go ahead and do this. And that's it. But yet more animated in the O-line room, but you need that. Your offensive line has to be that pulse. They have to be the lifeblood that when you're trying to get the temperature of the team, you put it right on the offensive line and you say, okay, this is the pulse of the team. So you want to get them as comfortable as possible because they're such a young unit, especially compared to Aaron. I mean, if you add up all of their experiences, I think you might get to 20 years with Aaron. Aaron has that by himself. So he sees that. He knows that.
Take Seumalo out, you don't come close.
No, you don't even get to double digits if you take Seumalo out.
Yeah, he's making the curve a little bit. But even when I had a chance to talk to Aaron last week and was talking about how do you have this fine line of you can crack a joke, you can be funny, but you also are like, you're going to run that route exactly how I want you to. It's a trait, and he said it is a learned and practiced trait. But he said that if guys are not having fun, if they are thinking too much, they don't play well. And he wants everybody to not be thinking too much and to play well as a unit. And it's very interesting when you hear him talk about some of his different philosophies and what he thinks that this very young team, very young offense needs at this point. Yeah,
and it's going to be fascinating to see that unfold once we get to the regular season and it really starts to matter. And there are some circumstances attached. But so far, full speed ahead with the approach, right? It seems to really be working for these guys individually and collectively.
Yeah, all right. You guys ready for some campies?
Let's do it. Campy time.
Second annual. Yes. All right. We're gonna start easy, low-hanging fruit. Best rookie. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. And I think all of us kind of agree with this. 99 Derek Harmon. I mean, it doesn't really get any more decisive than that.
Yeah.
He has come in immediately. Even though you put him with the first team and you quote-unquote anointed him, the kid has answered the bell. He is physical. He is tough. He is menacing. His pass rush moves are very seasoned for a guy that's as raw as he is. I was blown away by his game on Saturday night against Jacksonville. The kid was disruptive in the middle, and although he didn't get a sack, quote-unquote, he did affect and disrupt the timing of Trevor Lawrence and Nick Mullins while he was in there.
It's interesting, at least from my perspective in the media, he's the quietest, least talked about number one pick I can remember. Because when you bring in an Aaron Rodgers, a DK Metcalf, a Jalen Ramsey, a Juan Thornhill, all the stories are the veteran, the new toys that they bought. And this kid's had an opportunity to just kind of come in and do his job. Instead of being heavily scrutinized every day, he's just been able to play and playing really well.
And it's worked out for him. Even Coach Tomlin, I asked him prior to the game in Jacksonville, you put him with the ones on your depth chart, whether it means something or not. What did he want to see from him? And he said exactly what we've seen in Latrobe in a game, and he had full confidence in him there. All right, so we're going to go from rookie to veteran. So best veteran, there's a few to pick from, Max.
There are a few to pick from, and, I look at how this is, and I think, for Darius Slay coming in, the first of a couple of corners that came in here.
The first wave.
Yeah, the first wave of corners. I think Darius Slay has really come in and really defined himself as that starting outside cornerback type opposite Joey Porter, and he's been impressive. He's drawn DK Metcalf. He's drawn Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson. He's handled all of those challenges consistently, so I really like him coming in here, and that's who I picked as my best vet.
I'm going to go with Jalen Ramsey.
Look, same shot. Imagine that.
Nice,
go figure.
Nice to see Slay's okay after that little ankle
incident
he
stayed out
yesterday.
here. It seemed like he was going to be good.
But Jalen Ramsey's not only capable of playing at an all-pro level, outside corner, slot, or safety. Max, I think he has brought a tenacity, a volatility, a personality, a swagger, some emotion that implies combustibility. I go all the way back to Greg Lloyd used to wear a T-shirt that said, "I was not hired for my disposition." And I think Jalen Ramsey could wear that shirt well. And I think that is maybe a needed element that was lacking on the defense a year ago. A little bit of, I don't know what these guys are going to do next kind of
a little
feeling.
Loose cannon action, right? Yeah. Especially in the well, I think, and I would agree with that, especially in the secondary. Like, we kind of know what the identity of the D-line is, right? I mean, Cam Hayward is the bear that you keep poking, and I don't know why you keep doing it, because he's going to be physical, he's going to be nasty, he's going to be in your face. But, right, the secondary didn't have that identity. It's more, I won't say meek, because meek might be a little bit, but definitely a lot more toned down than we're used to. Because, especially in my era, I had Ike Taylor, who talked every single play to every single DB and would try, or every wide receiver, and try and get in their head the entire time. So I kind of look at that, and he brings that kind of aura. The Ryan Clark, right? It's the chippy, chirpy Pomeranian type. You need that type of guy.
He's like the Inferno wing sauce.
Yes.
Like, oh yeah, I can handle that. And then,
Yeah,
and then you take a bite and your face is on fire.
And you're like, I can't handle that. Where's the milk? Where's anything to get this out of my system?
Well, I am still waiting because when your former teammate Ryan Clark was up here at training camp, they sat down with Jalen Ramsey. So I keep looking to see when that episode of The Pivot's dropping, because I want to know more about him. As you said, you hear him.
Yeah, I do too, and he hasn't done a lot of interviews, by the way.
So I need to know more about. Yeah, right.
He's been asked. He just hasn't done a lot of interviews.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the mystique about him, but I want to hear more about why, wanting to come here, all those types of different things, and I feel like Ryan and that crew will get those types of answers out of him. Where does he see himself fitting in this defense at this point of his career? Yada, yada. But all right, so that was for there. All right, most impactful newcomer.
And that's where I came in with my Jalen Ramsey, because I looked at it and I was like, yes, he comes in as the best vet, but I'm like, he's going to be super impactful to that defense because he can play anywhere in the secondary.
Yeah.
He can be a nickel. He can be a safety. He can be an outside corner. He can do all of those things. And like you said, all the reasons that you mentioned, Mike, like he absolutely embodies that. He is the physical presence. Ike had coined this term. He's a professional goon.
Oh, I love that.
And it's like,
love that.
It's like, well, and you're like, oh, well, what does professional goon mean? It seems like those are double negatives, but no. Like you said, he goes about it. He's very ritualistic. He's very methodical. He's very intentional, but yet he's going to mix it up with you. He's going to get in your face. He's going to talk. He's going to try and disrupt the norm, but yet when we saw him just taping his finger, like he does that every single day, and it's his routine. It's his ritual. So there's a controlled chaos that he brings to a defensive side of the ball that I really
Controlled
love.
chaos.
And I think
you are
that's gonna
nailing
be,
these descriptions today. You are finishing strong, Max Starks.
you know, I had some beet juice earlier, so that definitely got me in the right mind frame.
Controlled chaos sounds like my house, and that really, hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
But the
Minus the
professional
control part.
Well,
Yeah.
it's really not controlled. It's,
It's just-
maybe contained.
Yeah,
There
contained
you
within
go.
the four walls.
Contained,
Yeah.
into our yard, our house, and maybe the next door neighbors. But I think also too, as you said, he still has this work ethic, and Coach Tomlin has pointed that out numerous times. It's not like he's just this talking guy who likes to try to get under people's skin. He also works really hard at his craft and being the best that he can be in whatever he's going to do on this defense, which is going to be fun to see as we get closer to real football.
In terms of my most impactful newcomer, excuse me while I reach for a little low-hanging fruit here, Aaron Rodgers.
I don't
I
think
mean-
it's that low. I mean, it's
Yeah.
impactful.
It tastes the same, and you don't have to work nearly as hard.
Yeah, that's
Give
true.
me that low-hanging fruit all day long.
Yeah, I mean that was one, and I completely agree with you, Mike. I mean, I think when you talk about each side of the ball needing something, this is the most needed on the offensive side of the ball, right? And you don't want to call it the adult in the room because obviously we had Russell Wilson here a year ago, but when you talk about accomplishments, attention to detail, and we just played that long interview, right? That was almost 10 minutes long. You get a better sense about being the commandante or being the captain or being the leader in the room. It's no question that you're going to look to Aaron Rodgers first and what he brings, the cachet, the lore, the myth, all of that. It turns out to be true and even better than you seem. That low-hanging fruit that you grabbed is actually super ripe and it's perfect, for any occasion.
I've never turned it down, Max.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Well, I think also too, by the way, his position, they have had a different person there starting week 1 since Ben Roethlisberger retired. So
Yeah.
it clearly has to be impactful
Probably will
to
next
make
year,
things
too.
work.
Yeah, probably will continue that.
Guys,
but
let's enjoy the ride that is
the
2025.
adult that is there currently
Yes.
is perfectly suited for the job.
Okay, let's talk about biggest disappointment of training camp.
Oh, Will Howard. Like, I wanted to see it. I wanted to experience it.
Everybody did.
National champion quarterback. He was going to get the lion's share of reps against the Jacksonville Jaguars on Saturday. Hand injury prevents that. You saw a lot, and which I will say this: Skylar Thompson came out and he was ready to go. But I wanted to see Will Howard. I wanted to see what he was going to do, and we will be delayed from that for at least a little bit as that hand heals. But man, that was one that was disappointing.
I'm going to go with a much more personal selection, and the first day in pads getting rained out. I was disappointed.
Yeah.
You mean everybody walking down the hill in pads, standing
Oh, my
on the playing surface, about to warm up, and then walking back up the hill and never coming
After
back
hearing
down?
that beautiful lightning siren that we heard
Yeah.
up top here.
I look forward to that day every summer, and I can't wait for backs on backers and team run and all that good stuff, and I just had to wait. I don't like to wait.
Yeah, I would agree.
I was
that's
disappointed.
That is disappointing. But you know what? We did not get disappointed in Friday Night Lights, though.
Oh, no.
That's
Which
true.
I was. So that was definitely something where if there is a silver lining for that first week, that was just like rain after rain after as we switched the Farmer's Almanac and talked everything else out and checked pulled out, I'm sure, like a sunstone or something, sundial, and it's like, nope, didn't happen.
Delayed satisfaction.
It was. It was
It
delayed.
kind of worked out. But,
Yeah.
I mean, the fact they had them on, they were on the field.
You just knew it was going to. I was like, at least get one period in.
No,
Just get one.
they got
And
nothing.
we got
They went
zero.
into the gym.
Yeah, and did a walkthrough with
Right.
with shirts on and a hat. Not even a helmet. We used to have to do, when we got rained out, we still had to have our shoulder pads on and our helmets in the gym. And it
No.
was sweaty, and they'd have to keep coming by with the towels on the hardwood.
Not
no,
even-
these
not this
guys,
time.
they sought comfort. It's okay.
Baseball hats.
Yeah,
Sorry.
backwards at least.
Backwards.
Because there's no sunshine in the
That's
gym.
true. That's true. All right. Biggest concern as we sit here today on the final day of practice for training camp.
I'm going to go inside linebacker, but I'm not going to go for the reason that everybody thinks. It's not about the depth, because we have a lot of great depth, and I kind of went through it during the show today. We were kind of going back over it as we were doing the tape review. But it's inside linebacker thumperness. It's a
Okay.
new word. It's a new word.
I like it.
I found that in the Craig Wolfley dictionary
Yes.
as I was looking it up. But there's not that Landon Roberts. Like Mark Robb is probably the closest thing to it, but there's not that force where you say, man, if we get to run through the A-gap, I don't know if I can do it. You don't have that turned down for what type of ideal yet. We got a lot of skilled, athletic linebackers from Patrick Queen, and Peyton Wilson and Cole Holcomb who could go sideline to sideline, and they can just run it up, and you're not going to get the edge game on them. But that A-gap, the guy that's going to shorten the neck of the lead blocker, we don't have that dude that's built like, one of the gnomes from Lord of the Rings, or a dwarf, I should say, dwarf, not a gnome. We don't have that guy that's going to go short in the neck, so that's my only concern is the hitter in the A-gap.
Okay.
More low-hanging fruit, depth at wide receiver. I think it was a problem last year.
Did you copy that from last year?
George Pickens got hurt, and there just weren't enough guys to catch the ball effectively, and I don't know if they have the answers. Roman Wilson there is perceived as one of the potential answers.
Had a great game against Jacksonville.
Calvin Austin, number 19, is perceived as one of the potential answers.
Not
Max,
healthy right now.
You know what potential means? It means you have not done enough yet.
Yeah, potential is something that's unrealized, and that's what we got to realize it.
I am concerned, and if DK Metcalf should suffer some type of misfortune and be
knock on wood
unavailable for an extended period,
is this a wood-like surface? I don't know.
I think that's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, it is made out of wood.
Yeah.
But I say, I counter that. I say, well, guess what? Jonnu Smith, you're up, bud.
Oh.
You're up.
and Darnell Washington and Gainwell, and find somebody besides a wide receiver to throw the ball to, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, camp sleeper. Who you picking, Max?
Brandon Johnson. He's mine. As we just talked about the concern of the wide receiver position.
Yeah.
I look at number 11, Brandon Johnson. A big physical receiver, strong hands, can catch in traffic, and also, can run in teams. Now, in special teams, he did have a blown block on one of the kickoff return segments, but he was in and around a lot of the tackles on punt cover and on the kickoff coverage unit. He was there. So still he's shown me a little bit more, but I like what I've seen so far from Brandon Johnson for being that kind of relative unknown.
And he was on the practice squad for most of last year, I believe. And Zach Azzani, the wide receivers coach, this is the third stop they've been together. And he's talked about going to bat for him and knowing this is a guy that he feels the same as you, is a bit of a sleeper.
Yeah, and that comfortability always is a good sign.
I like him a lot. I think he's shown up a great deal out here. Almost every day he's made a play where you think, oh, who's number 11? And then you finally know who he is and learn his backstory. But just to be different, and just because he went to a Big Ten school, I'll say
shocker.
Keyshawn Williams, wide receiver, flashed a little on the punt return, I thought, in Jacksonville, and they might need a backup punt returner.
Yeah.
Or, maybe a guy. I know Mike Tomlin has said that he wants to keep Calvin Austin at that job, but if Calvin Austin becomes a really good wide receiver, can you still afford – is that a luxury? If you find somebody else that can do it well, Indiana's Keyshawn Williams is my new sleeper. My initial sleeper was Sebastian Castro, the safety out of Iowa.
Yeah.
But I think the signing of Chuck Clark kind of hit the snooze alarm for the sleepers at that position.
Well, no, I completely agree. I think once you get a guy like Chuck Clark in and you sign Jalen Ramsey, you're like, we're good at safety, and we have Miles Killebrew, who's already a core 4 special teams
I bet
ace.
Castro's on a practice squad. And
I would like to see him there.
I think eventually he's an NFL player, just not yet.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But, like I said, I like your Keyshawn Williams pick. That touchdown catch.
Yes.
The strong hands going and snatching it over the top of the DB was another highlight of the game Saturday night. And, the other thing I think, that I look at with him is that he's slippery. He's a slippery type of player where you kind of lose sight of him in some situations that he'll make you pay if you don't pay attention to him. I had him in the playoff game a year ago against Notre Dame. He was by far and away one of the top offensive players in that game. So it would be interesting to see his versatility if he can squeak out a spot at the end of that because of his special teams.
All right, player that is under the radar right now.
I think it's Jack Sawyer. And I know there was an investment made in the draft. Max, I got to tell you, I watch a lot of Big Ten football. You might not be aware of this.
No, surprise?
When he got here, I had no idea he was this big. I don't know if it's just TV makes you look smaller or everybody else on Ohio State was a monster. And
he's going against offensive linemen, so he's never going to going to win the size battle in that
I
category.
think this was a great value pick. And just yesterday, I was up on the hill doing some radio work for my day job before practice, and he came out early with T.J. Watt and Nick Herbig, and they were on that third field, the one, right up against the hillside across the way. And Herbig and T.J. Watt are showing him moves, and they're repping it, and they're talking. It was fascinating to watch. He's getting a master class here at St. Vincent in how to rush the passer. I know he's got that big game, big play gene.
Yeah.
Because I watched him play at Ohio State. I think this guy is going to be an impactful player.
No, I completely agree with you. I think what Jack Sawyer brings to the table, we've been looking for that fourth guy.
Yes.
Right? We're looking for the fourth pass rusher to complement Nick Herbig.
Look at that, Max. Two Big Ten guys getting ready to do battle. You got to love that, don't you?
You
just love to see it, don't you?
I don't, but it's all good. I
thought he was an ACC guy.
Technically, I thought Mike spent all his time watching Big 12 football. So this is a surprise to me right now.
Wrong time zone.
Yeah, wrong time zone.
You know,
exactly.
Max, one time I was watching paint dry. I only thought it was Big 12 football.
Oh, boy.
That's only the defense. The offense actually gets after it. That's the problem. They never had any defense there.
The old man jokes are coming out as
exactly.
camp is coming to a close.
Yeah, this is the last day. Can't you tell?
Stay in your lane. What can I say?
Maybe Jack Sawyer, though, got the TJ Watt workout plan before coming to camp. I know they didn't really get to meet yet when he was over at the South Side after being drafted, or maybe Herbig, gave him a little tip.
Yeah, no, and I thought he was solid in the game against Jacksonville. He was close. He was a get near guy.
He
as
almost
Wolf would
had
say.
one there at the end.
Yeah, so he was a get near guy, but he does fall into the get there category, and it was it's only a matter of time, I feel like, that he's going to have an impact.
Did I tell you guys what TJ Watt said Jack Sawyer's nickname is yet?
No.
They call him 5-star.
5-star.
Because he's the golden boy from Ohio.
Oh, my goodness. That's so good.
He's a pretty good rookie, but we'll see. But he said, we call him 5-star. Cause,
I feel like from a Wisconsin Badger, that's not a compliment.
No. So I'm like waiting to, pass him at some point and be like, what's up, 5-star, and see if he turns his head like, what do you know? How do you know that?
And I interviewed those guys last. I had Jack Sawyer and Y.A. Black. I would have loved to have thrown that nugget out there. 5-star, but no, you know what? There might be another one, so I will hold on to that.
Keep it in your back pocket.
He may be a 5-star, but last week he was carrying about 7 sets of shoulder pads off the field. One day you're running with the ones and field
carrying the pads for the ones.
Yeah. He's a rookie.
It's all good. It's a rite of passage. We all did it.
That's right. All right, poised for a breakout.
Okay, the question for me is, as I look at this, because I know what I said, but I'm like.
You can change.
No, I'm not going to change. Going with it. Number 30, Jaylen Warren. That's my guy. I'm looking at the pieces that are around him. They won't be stacking the box on him because you have so many other things to worry about, whether it's Pat Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, DK Metcalf. You can't cover them all.
No.
And I think that is where Jaylen Warren's strength is going to come, running against that 7-man box. True to true, man to man. And he has the nickname that I gave him, which was always falling forward, so that means always getting a positive play. Wolf called him the bollard buster in pass protection. So I think the bollard busting, always falling forward player, Jaylen Warren's going to have a breakout this year.
You got to be careful when you say that.
Yeah. I know.
But I trust you, not you. All right, who's your poised for a breakout player?
Number 41 in your program, number 1 in your heart, Peyton Wilson. I still go back to the Senior Bowl 2 years ago, not this year's, but last year's. And I finally got a chance to see him play, watching the practices on TV on the NFL Network. And I saw the guy who won all the awards. And, that's him, because I hadn't seen NC State play that year.
Because you're a Big 12 watcher.
Right.
And the guy jumped off the TV screen or jumped through the TV screen to me. And I thought, this is the most fascinating man in the draft. I didn't think there was any chance the Steelers would end up drafting him because of their other needs. But lo and behold, he gets here, and he had that learning year last year, and you could see the ascension. You could see him starting to get it. I agree with Malik Williams. He's going to go off or is it Malik Harrison? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
He said early in camp that Peyton Wilson is going to take off like a rocket, and I concur.
All right, hardest worker, Max.
Hardest worker, that one was one that was a little bit tougher for me. But It's a double award. It's a double award thing, and you know what? It's our award, so I can do it. Jalen Ramsey. I know I had him up there earlier, for most impactful newcomer.
He fits a lot of these categories.
He fits a lot of categories, but the one moment that stood out for me was there was a play in practice. You weren't allowed to tackle at that point. Jalen Warren burst through the middle on a run play, and 45 yards down the field, Jalen Warren is hawking this dude down and trying to punch the ball out. And that right there just said the attention to detail, the game-like type of experience. You might have a game where this happens, so simulating game-like type of stressors. And this dude who has nothing left to prove, has done it all, is still running down the field with a running back when the play has been whistled dead just to take a swipe at him because you never know. And I thought that was something that just stood out to me as far as hardest working man.
I'm going to go with T.J. Watt, and one of the snapshots that's burned in my memory of this camp, the day before they put the pads on, it was about 3,000 degrees out here.
Yeah.
And they had just put up those little shade things, those kind of makeshift awnings on the benches. And there was a special teams drill going on, and everybody who wasn't involved in the special teams drill was crowded under the shade, except for T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward, who were running the hoop. I think they call it. They had the hoop on the field.
The hula hoop, yeah.
They're working on bend and explosion. And then when they got done that, they started jogging sideline to sideline. And then a couple of the offensive linemen, Frazier and McCormick and Fatanu, decided they were going to start jogging. And now all the offensive linemen are jogging whenever they get a chance. And other players are doing it. TJ doesn't practice every day, but he's working on something every day. He is preparing something every day. He is relentless. And that's why he's an all-pro and a Defensive Player of the Year candidate every year.
And a future gold jacketer. Yeah. We're just going to throw that out there now.
It is why when he goes around corners of the facility here at camp, Southside, wherever, and he practices pass rushing moves. I've never seen him turn the corner into the training room without doing a move first.
It's like me when I get to a low archway. I'm always pretending like I'm dunking. I don't know if that's just a product of just immaturity or what. But it's like why not? I mean, I used to do this. It's funny. I used to do that. Now I don't because I have daughters with volleyball. So I always go around the corner now and I'm like pretending I'm blocking and stuff to scare my daughters. But
for your safety.
But no, that's one of the things that's a little part. When you talk about a great athlete, always doing something. ADS, right? And that's something that you can never say 90 is never not doing it.
No.
And that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. All right, best position battle of camp.
Well, I thought I was going to get it Saturday. Didn't quite get it.
Yep.
But punter. I mean, that's the only true, battle out here. Like, everything else, we know who the first team is for all intents and purposes. But we do not know who the starting punter is going to be. And then we only got 3 punts on Saturday night. And Corliss Waitman, in his single punt, boomed it with a 5-second hang time. It went 52 yards, no return. That was huge. But Cam Johnston was trying to end over end. He was trying some things to be more accurate as far as pinpointing the ball. But that's one that I'm still looking for. We will not have an answer till after the third preseason game because they're switching every single punt.
Oh, yeah.
They're taking turns kicking.
Yeah, I'll go with that as well. I think that's more a reflection of the rest of the roster than my fascination with punting.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
I know you need one. Good luck to both guys.
Yeah, and it's essentially it's your first play of defense. How much grass are you going to get back, to be able to give your defense to defend? So, I mean, it is an important phase. And I loved all my punters when I played. I appreciated what they did, even though I know it wasn't helping me. It was more so they were getting us out of a jam than putting the opposing offense in a tricky situation. But it is important, and it is a fun one to watch.
All right. Best bounce back of camp.
Cole Holcomb.
Yeah.
55. Give me that. Year and a half off. Everything mentally that could have went wrong did not go wrong. And he stayed consistent. He stayed fervent. He traveled with the team every game last year. He was in the mix, but he couldn't play. Couldn't get a hat. Wasn't allowed to practice. Had a gruesome injury, almost, 18 months ago, 17 months ago.
Intense rehab, yes.
Intense rehab, and the dude did not look like he missed a step on Saturday night. He
Yeah,
was flying around. He was hitting.
It's a great pick, but I'm going to give honorable mention shout out to Mason Rudolph because he wasn't here last year.
He's back.
He has bounced back.
He's like an
and I
Eminem
think
song.
he's practicing very well, and I thought he played very well, and I expect when his number is called, he will continue to play very well.
What can number 2 do for you?
Yeah.
And number 2.
Different guy, right?
Yeah, it is. Well, that mustache is definitely making him different, but we still know who he is. I just wanted just a razor real quick. Just a real quick.
Let's get him in Charlotte.
It's the awkward uncle mustache. It's the uncle that like drives a T-top Camaro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I get a little Freddie Mercury vibe.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I agree. That is definitely a little bit of Queen action there. But yeah, once again, solid competitor, been there, done that, doing it again type of guy. He's had the playoff experience. He's had the starter capability. We've seen this guy have to get into a rainstorm in Detroit when Ben caught COVID and throw the ball 50 times with a walkthrough in the ballroom the day before type of deal. So, I mean, he's a tried, tested, and true veteran.
And when he signed, he knew there was a potential that Aaron Rodgers or somebody else was coming, but still wanted to come here. I think he also just handles things correctly.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of times and things that have happened in his career where he could probably, boo-hoo about it. And Mason always has the upper hand in terms of being a bigger person for things. And I respect and appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever been in a better place. He told me early in camp, I'm not counting completions. I'm not worried about what anybody else is doing. I'm doing my thing. He's getting more significant reps than he ever has here.
Yeah,
and
true.
it's showing. Sometimes practice helps. Who knew?
Yeah, who knew that would actually help? And I mean, and when we had that quarterback competition a couple years ago when it was Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, and him, I thought he actually played the best of everybody, but he wasn't getting the shot. He wasn't getting the turn. So now you come here, you know what your role is. You know it is clearly defined. There's no looking over your shoulder about who's gonna leapfrog me. He's like, no, I'm coming as the number 2 back. I wear number 2 for a reason, but 2 can be won one day. You never know what can happen with the attrition of a game or a season.
All right, best camp personality.
Oh, I've been waiting for this one.
Okay, hit us first.
Wide receiver, Ben Skoranek.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
He's a troller.
A.K.A. whoever the hell that other gunner was, A.K.A. Dirtbag. One thing I learned in this training camp, I never knew that his dad was from Connellsville, Pennsylvania, which is just down the road. He had a bunch of family here last week, and I was talking to him today on the radio, and he mentioned that Arthur Smith still calls him a whole bunch of things. And he invented a nickname for himself, which normally I'm not a fan of people creating their own nickname. I think you have to have those bestowed upon you. But this one, I hope it sticks. Scro Dirt.
Scro Dirt.
That's
I love
good.
it. Instead of Joe
like
Dirt.
Joe Dirt,
Yeah, exactly. Scro Dirt.
Because he's kind of got the Joe Dirt
Scraggly
thing going.
hair, almost looks like a mullet. You're not quite sure.
I'm going to allow that. And I just think he's been really fun to talk to. And he has been the guy credited the most with helping facilitate the Aaron Rodgers interactions with teammates by busting stones back to Rodgers in case anybody was a little intimidated, in case there was trepidation. He said, no, I don't care if he's an A-lister. I'm going to give it right back to him.
Do you know his government name, first name?
I don't.
Bennett.
Wow.
Bennett.
And I only know that because Coach Tomlin calls him that.
I like that.
Exactly.
And I didn't know that. I thought he was a Benjamin or something.
So you could totally use the phrasing of, my name's Bennett and I ain't in it. Use that. You could use it, except for he is.
He could
he is.
100%
He's actually
use
antithesis of that. Bennett is in it all the time. And, no, I completely agree with that. I concur. He's been the funniest. They've had a repartee between him and Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
The whole no knock policy in the room. No, it's been great to watch.
Scro Dirt. There he is.
Scro Dirt.
I also think it's low-hanging fruit, but the other guy on this screen, Mike Tomlin. This is his environment.
That's a really good call.
He loves training camp more than you. He loves training camp more than Bennett Skoranek, Aaron Rodgers. This is just his environment, whether it is on the football field, in the cafeteria, team snack, whatever. He knows what he's doing here.
Yeah, no,
he's comfy.
I agree. 19 years in, still winning the Best Camp Personality Award.
All right,
Great
guys.
Great call.
Yeah. Had to throw one out there, and he was right there on the screen. It was too easy. It felt like all of our picks
the
were
lowest of hanging fruit right there.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
I agree.
All right. Well, guys, it has been real. It has been a fun training camp. It's been great to do this with both of you in some form or fashions. I know. It's okay. We got 2 more preseason games.
We do. Plenty of time to talk, and we got plenty of in-season work together.
Well, as far as we know.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
knock on wood.
Until otherwise noted, right? Let's just go ahead and knock on the wood.
But we do have to thank all of the crew behind the scenes that you
Yes.
guys don't get a chance to see, that make our show possible, who make us look as good as
Look,
possible.
Gabby got off her phone.
Possible.
She just looked up while we were clapping.
Who turned on fans for us, who
Yes,
get us
exactly.
water. Sometimes we can be a little difficult to work
We
with.
can be a little devious.
That was for
but
you,
they,
Gabby.
They keep us in place.
And everybody else behind the cameras and behind the scenes.
Exactly.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks so much for our final Training Camp Live presented by FedEx for Max Starks and Mike Pursuta and Missy Matthews. Stay tuned to Steelers.com and the Steelers mobile app for the rest of the Steelers preseason action.